blood glucose spikes don't mean anything in regards to your health. So you might be wondering why the bird feeders behind me that are filled with seeds, fatty seeds, are relevant. Well, I'll get onto that very soon, so you'll understand why. So on this graph here that I just showed you, this is just a generic graph that shows, this would show time along the bottom and then your blood glucose levels along the y-axis, so time along the x-axis. And this is a graph that you might get if you use one of these. So this is a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor. This is the box, so it's empty now because I've used it. So it would look like this little coin-shaped device, and you put it sort of around here on the back of your arm, and it monitors continuously. So this is a Freestyle Libre 3 Plus. So with this one, it's a continuous glucose monitor. It's not a flash monitor where you need your phone or a little device where you'd hold it next to it and it would show you glucose in that moment. With this, you have an app that you download and you can continuously see what your blood glucose levels are all the time. So yeah, it's an amazing little piece of technology. And I have a series on the channel showing what foods that I ate to be healthy. So on this channel I recommend a vegan, high sugar, low fat, low protein diet lifestyle. So it's a diet lifestyle, and one of the foods that I recommend highly for weight loss but regaining your health is white rice. Yeah, 10 kilo bag, doesn't last me long. And also other foods such as I got this nice sort of fruit juice smoothie type thing. So it's a mix of fruits and vegetables actually. So it's got kiwi and apple, cucumber, spinach, lemon, ginger and banana. So if you have to, I'll put a link where you can check out, I made a video for every day for the duration of these sensors, so they last about 2 weeks. And yeah, I used it to be transparent to show that the lifestyle and therefore the foods that I recommend are not going to cause you to essentially deteriorate your health, to continue to deteriorate. So I help people who are concerned about their health. So one of them being diabetes, for example, which is a consequence of the normal inverted commas lifestyle that most people eat. So most people, if you're watching this, and most people in the West, they eat a high fat, high protein diet. Essentially it's a lifestyle where you don't really then do any exercise either, because you're demonizing sugar, because you think sugar is the cause of all disease and ill health in the world, essentially. And I'm here to tell you, first of all, it's not, and I have other videos showing over and over again that it's not the cause of diabetes type 2, it's not the cause of obesity and fatty liver, and on and on and on. So that's the message I spread, is to show that the way to go is a low fat, no oil, vegan, high sugar, low protein lifestyle. So it's a lifestyle, not a diet. It's something that you have to choose to engage with, and therefore you'll change over from the lifestyle that you've been living, which is, I also recommend cycling because it gives you freedom, and it's also amazing for weight loss. So you change your diet from one where you fear what you think is causing you ill health, that you've been told is causing you ill health. So part of what I do on this channel is I show what you should be living, the lifestyle that you should be living, and I also give the tools, funny word, isn't it? I also show people this is how the world works, and therefore if you choose to change I also show why you are living the current lifestyle and why most people live the standard Western lifestyle. And only you, at the end of the day, can change your own behavior. I just give the tools to show and the explanation. So I'm going to explain to you why blood sugar spikes don't matter in terms of health and why you don't need to worry, and what you do need to worry about in terms of ill health. So I'm going to explain that, and then I'm going to explain why you're being told that sugar is the cause of all ill health and disease, okay? So I hope you enjoy the video, and like and subscribe, and you can check out the series where I use the CGM and I eat the foods that I recommend. And by the way, I'm not type 1 diabetic or type 2 diabetic, and I eat as much sugar and carbohydrates as I want every day, and I'm always lean. So I was about 65 kilos this morning at 5'11", and no, I don't do thousands of hours of exercise. It's because of the foods that I eat. So this is I would say a normal graph. This is a graph of someone who's not diabetic and doesn't need to worry about their health. So in terms of what this might be caused by, is this might be breakfast, lunch and tea, and then a little snack at night. So you might have fruit for breakfast, then you might maybe have rice for lunch, a rice based dish, maybe with some vegetables, but essentially large bowl of rice. And then again for tea, maybe a bowl of rice mixed in with more vegetables, more yellow vegetables like sweet corn. And then last thing there might be, in the summer, it's not particularly summery in the UK at the moment, but that might just be a little ice lolly in the evening, or a little snack, or some crackers, or vegan low fat crackers. And this is not a example of someone who is diabetic, and I'll show you now a graph for someone who would be considered diabetic. So as you can already see, what is important, so what's not important to focus on is spikes, but what is important is chronically elevated levels. It's chronically elevated levels of blood glucose. So essentially, if this is the night through your sleep, if you compare how low this fasting levels of blood glucose levels are down here, they're much lower and they're in a normal healthy range. Whereas if someone's diabetic, pre-diabetic or essentially diabetic, your blood glucose levels are constantly elevated, they're chronically elevated, and that's when you become diagnosed with diabetes, type 2 diabetes. So it's classed as a chronic disease in the West, and that's briefly, very simply, it's blood glucose spikes are not to be worried. You shouldn't be worried about that. What you should be worried about is chronically elevated levels. So I've already said these, for example, rice and fruit might cause a graph like this. So fasting levels are low, and then when you eat, your blood sugar levels go up and then they come back down. But when they're constantly elevated like this, it's because you're not eating a high sugar diet. So say this is very important, because the reason why you're being told that, essentially it's to confuse you. The reason why you're being told every single shape that a graph is bad, that you might see when you consume food, is to confuse you, and therefore you're never going to be able to eat the healthy diet, or the diet that is meant for human beings. Just like every animal on the planet has a diet. So if you were going to the zoo, which I don't because I'm vegan, firstly, but if you were going to go to the zoo, every animal in the zoo, the zookeeper would give a specific food or specific diet And people who have pets, they say, well, no, my cat or my dog has its specific needs that it needs to eat, just as an example. But for human beings, in sort of the standard way of eating, at least in the West, there seemingly is no standard, or there's no way that is accepted that is the human diet. And the reason for this is because money. Okay, the healthcare system and the pharmaceutical industry are essentially, if you combine pharmaceutical industry, the healthcare industry, all in one, along with the food industry, this is sort of the largest, well, the second largest industry on the planet behind the industrial military complex, which can never be surpassed in its power, and it's the US military industrial complex. However, second to that is the complex of the food industry, healthcare, and the pharmaceutical industry. And therefore, that's why a lot of your information that you see on social media, people who are influencing people, even if all the way from your healthcare provider to people you see online, they're telling you good things about your bad habits. They're telling you to continuously eat more foods that generate more money. So the foods that generate the most money are generally high fat, high protein foods. And therefore, if you're told, well, sugar is bad, it causes you spikes in your blood, and you're told that's bad, therefore you'll eat fat and protein, but that'll make you pre-diabetic. And then you're told, well, you need to cut sugar more out, or go keto, or completely cut your sugar out. And then supposedly you'll see a decrease in blood glucose levels, or fasting blood glucose levels. But a brilliant test, very simple test, just to see that you are diabetic even if you're eating a high fat diet, is the oral glucose tolerance test. So you just take some sugar water, and in a few hours you drink some sugar water. A few hours later you test your blood glucose levels, and you'll find even on a high fat, high protein diet, low in sugar, you're still pre-diabetic or diabetic. So it's about insulin. So a high fat diet paralyzes insulin, and also protein, but essentially high fat and high protein come together. So excess dietary fat paralyzes insulin, therefore blood glucose levels remain high in the blood. Whereas if you're having a high sugar diet, insulin works well, you're sensitive to insulin, so insulin sensitivity is up and insulin resistance is down, and therefore when you eat, blood glucose levels come back down. So your body can cope with these spikes. That's not unhealthy. But what the body can't cope with is chronically elevated levels of blood glucose. So the reason why you won't hear this information, why you won't be told to have foods like this, and you'll be told to be eating like a bird, for example a garden bird, high fat meals. So you'll be told to eat animal products. So cheese is amazing. You'll be told cheese is amazing, or steak is magic, or eggs are amazing. All of these animal foods that are high in fat and subsequently high in protein. You're eating you're not eating the human diet, which is essentially, it's a starch-based diet, a simple sugar-based diet. So rice and fruit, and also sugar for taste. So I'll have white table sugar to power my exercise. I'll also add it to my daily routine. Routine as in, I might have some processed foods, so I have maybe some cornflakes, and I'd add a bit of sugar for taste. And this is the cheap way of eating. So rice and fruit, well, rice is the cheapest food on the planet. Again, this is why you don't see foods that are cheap that are being promoted. So yes, some fruits can be expensive, but essentially like bread and pasta and rice. So white rice is the cheapest food on the planet, and white rice is well tested. It's such a well tested food as well. It's been eaten by more people on the planet throughout history than any other food. Okay, and I would challenge you to show me maybe someone who lives in Southeast Asia, rural China, who lives on rice and fruit juice as their main staple foods. I would challenge you to show me one of these people who is overweight and who is diabetic and suffers from heart disease. I challenge you, okay? Someone who lives on the high sugar naturally and low fat, low protein. It doesn't happen. Whereas in the West, where people are seemingly confused about what they need to eat, they're scared of sugar, but yet more and more people are becoming overweight and diabetic, but yet sugar intake is decreasing. So all you're seeing online is people making you scared, and therefore you won't change your lifestyle from the high fat, high protein way of eating. And what you need to do, that's why I'm here, is so if you want to get in touch, in the email in the description, if you want personalized coaching for weight loss and health gain, and to help you start on the road to regaining your health. And that starts by breaking through the conditioning of social media, your upbringing, your background, all of these factors where you've been told to live a certain way. Yeah, this message is rare because most people only care about money. And yeah, I need money just like everyone else to survive, but I don't care about being rich, because being rich can't buy you health or happiness. Okay? And if you say, oh well, it's I sound like I'm a conspiracy theorist, and that there's no such thing as, well, the healthcare system only caring about people who are sick and only having a sick population, and therefore a sick population generating more money. Well, I would again challenge you, if you think people are too kind to be horrible like that, again I would challenge maybe your boss. Go to your boss and ask, if you think you've been working really hard lately or consistently and you're being underappreciated at work, perhaps, maybe go to your boss and ask for a raise, and then you'll find out how your boss will kindly lay you off in order to employ someone who will work for less than you. Just an experiment you could try. So no, the world is geared to making money, so we live in a plutocracy. Those who make money, those who are rich, have the power and therefore decide how the world works. And that is, a sick population generates more money on a high fat, high protein diet. So the fat you eat is the fat you wear, and most people are not on a high sugar, vegan, low fat, low protein diet. So what you need to remember is, if you live like most people live, then you will die like most people die, which in the Western world is heart disease from a high fat, excess high fat diet lifestyle. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you saw some birds maybe eating the foods that you're eating. Okay, we're not designed to eat a high fat diet, and the proof is the horrific health statistics of the Western world. It's obvious. Okay, so I'm not here to tell you good things about your bad habits. So yeah, I see lots of people, they engage in YouTube channels or Instagram pages where it's showing people eating high fat cheesy meals or high fat processed animal products like bacon and eggs and all of these different foods, and it's horrific. And usually the people who are promoting these foods are either, there's usually two types of people. They're either fat themselves and then they say, well, look how amazing this is, but they're fat. Or the other type of person is lean, but all they do is count calories, and there's certain words on YouTube that I can't say, seemingly enough. So I have to be careful with what I say. So people who are in a calorie deficit, so I can't say certain words that YouTube flags because they think it's breaking their policies. So you can go on YouTube and show someone showing you how to be fat, and that's good. But yeah, if someone tries to get you lean, like I do, my videos, you have to be careful. So that's more the conspiracy theory right there. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you had any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And yeah, so you can't trust what you see on social media. Since I started this YouTube channel as well, it's given me an amazing insight, because I get regular emails where the latest round of emails that I've had is offers from companies or individuals or YouTube channels offering payment for writing a certain amount of comments on different channels and whatnot. So what you see on social media, can't believe. So if you see someone in the comment section saying, oh, I did the keto diet and whatnot, I've had offers and I've not accepted them, offering me payment for doing work, i.e. putting comments that are pre-scripted and pre-written for me to then write on certain channels. So you can't trust what you see on YouTube or social media, and what you need to trust is what I look at. So I look at like epidemiological studies, so population studies, the history of what humans have eaten, and also the science of, well, the definition of type 2 diabetes, the person who coined it. So Harold Himsworth, going back 70-80 years now, he was the first to define type 2, the definition between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And he said, you don't want to eat you want to eat a high carbohydrate meal lifestyle. You don't want to have a high fat, and high fat causes type 2. So yeah, we both agree that the world is not flat. Okay, so there is a diet for human beings, and it's starches and sugars, and simple sugars. So essentially it's white rice and it's fruit and fruit juice. This is what we're meant to eat. It all points to it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any comments, that's what I'm here for, and I'm here to help you if you want coaching for that. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. If you get out into nature, that also will help you to reduce your stress, which also will help to reduce your blood sugar, your fasting blood sugar levels. Okay, so it's about fasting blood glucose levels. Keep them low. That's what you need to think about.